Okay. We're live.
Welcome, family. Welcome into another installment of Tugu After Dark, where we gather to have real and raw conversations about anything and everything. But as always, we want to start by recognizing the First Nations of people of this land, people who were cheated by colonizers. Show our respect by honoring their leadership, past and present. So tonight, we uncovered the many mysteries behind the L word. We have some amazing people from our community that will introduce themselves. So, ladies, simply introduce your name, pronouns, and we do have an icebreaker question. If you were a phone, would you be an iPhone or an Android?
You're a Nokia. Nokia 3390.
So I'll start off. My name is Serene Tui. My pronouns are she and her. I would, if I was a phone, I would honestly be an iPhone. I am an Apple iPhone carrier, been for many years. Um, I just love all the different apps that we're able to like have access to, and not only that, being able to FaceTime and converse with a lot of family members who are part of the Apple iPhone family as well.
I'll go second. Hi, my name is Val Twa Olumarero. I identify myself as she and her. Um, if I was to choose between an iPhone and an Android, I would have to say I'm an iPhone carrier, but I would rather be an Android. But because my wife, she has a iPhone, and I think with an iPhone, I think it's because of the fact that I can track her. But if it was an Android, it's so much easier. I'm very simple. I don't really care for all those extra gadgets, like the apps and stuff. It's not really me. But yeah, Android.
All right. Since she already went, I'm Adriana Morero. My pronouns are she and her. Um, I would definitely say I'd be an iPhone, only because of the apps. Being able to communicate with family members through FaceTime and Messenger, and all the additional things you could do with it, tracking each other, each other's whereabouts. That may sound crazy to others, but we like to know where we're at, where each other's at. What else? What else? Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Um, I'm Annie Bird, father. Um, I identify, and it's really tough. That's a tough question for me because I've never really labeled myself. I've always just considered myself human. So I've always had a hard time with labels. Um, but honestly, I'd probably be a payphone because I'm more of old school, an OG, and everything about me is more old school. So, but I do carry around an Apple. Everything in my house is Apple, but I would say I'm more of a payphone.
Love it.
Right on. Old school.
I love it.
1-800. I guess it's my turn, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
The thing is, I can only see your letter, the title, so it's really hard to reach
Don't worry,
everyone.
we're smiling at you right now.
I'm going blind right now. So, anyways, I will be an iPhone. I've been an iPhone user for quite some time, so I like the functionality. Functional. I like to be functional. Um, and just the thing is about iPhones, you tend to have your updates, and so I like to keep up with times and be on the updates. Like Carla, but no, yeah, for its functionality, for its all the features, all there. So iPhone.
All right.
Alrighty. So we're gonna move on to the questions. So the first question we have here is, what is the biggest or most common misconception about lesbians? So with me, my biggest with me and my girlfriend, I always get asked who's the man or woman of the relationship. Honestly, there isn't. We're both equal in our relationship. There's no like dominant or person in the relationship. So I sometimes I just, that's just a typical question, especially asked by like males. They're always like, "Oh, so who's the girl? Who's the girl of the relationship? Who's the man of the relationship?" But it's like, there isn't one. We're both very equal. We both have, respect each other very equally. Yeah.
And I agree. That's sorry. Because when I first started coming out, and then I had a relation. I'm in a relationship, and so me and my girlfriend, we would we would be around our friends, and they were like, "So who's the guy?" And I'm like, "Hey, listen, come. There's no guy." And so we're, oh, and so I find myself in a situation where I wonder if it's more, do people tend to misconceptualize lesbians as a straight couple, like
As a
in those
heterosexual couple.
straight couple, and then I used to find it entertaining to kind of like see the surprise in their face, but over time I just got tired of having to explain, like you don't have to, you know uh, I'm not, yeah, so yeah.
I agree. I agree with Serene and Agnes. So we are married, and the biggest misconception of us is because my wife likes to dress girly, and I'm more conservative in a way where I dress more masculine per se. I mean, like I said, my pronouns are she and her. I identify that I'm a female, but it's because of what I wear. Um,
You're
people tend to
automatically think she's
yeah, like
like
I
she's
want to
trying
be
to
a
be a
dude
guy,
or I want to be a guy.
but I wouldn't be with her if she was a guy, like it just doesn't.
Yeah. So that's it. Definitely one of the biggest misconceptions of being a lesbian is who's a male, who's a female. They're still stuck in that mindset of a normal hetero couple. There's a man and there's a woman. So um, yeah, it gets frustrating having to constantly explain yourself to people that there's no male in this relationship. It's a female and a female. Uh, we're an equal couple. We're in an equal relationship.
I want to hear from old school.
Yeah.
I know, me too.
I'm so curious.
Well, I think the problem I had when I first came out, and that was over 50 years ago, and
Props.
it was difficult, but I think a lot of it was, them looking at you and thinking, "Are you checking me out?" No, it was always like everywhere you went, they would cover up and thinking that you were looking at them just because you were a lesbian. And
Mm.
Mhm.
the whole thing about, we're a bunch of sex addicts bothered me so much because we're so much more than that. There's so much, when I was looking for a partner, it was more so of, I was looking for the intelligence level because sex is everywhere. You can find it anywhere. But
Absolutely.
on the level of intelligence, it takes time and it takes a lot of investment. And for me, that was my key base on looking for someone that I felt like I can actually relate to on a basis of love, understanding, and compassion. And I truly found it many years later. But I think that was what bothered me the most, is that they thought we were a bunch of sex addicts.
Yeah.
There's some other
I'm sorry.
misconceptions.
Did I bother anybody?
No,
No,
no.
I really love that. I think with different generations, they different
Misconceptions.
yeah,
Throughout
there's so
the
many
generations.
misconceptions, and I feel like with the generation that you're from, which I totally I respect, is that at this, like, our generation right now, like, it's true, like, it's all about, oh, when you see lesbians you automatically think, oh, they like to, have sex, and it's just, there's more to it. There's, our
Yeah.
relationships between lesbians, especially if you have a partner, it's more than that. Like you said, like, between me and my wife, we're 4 years apart. I'm older, as you can tell, but like with me and her, it's like it's more to it. Like, of course there's sex everywhere, but like, one of the biggest reasons I fell in love with my wife was the fact that I mean, age is nothing but a number, but it's the fact that we can communicate, and there was like it was so easy, you know what I'm saying, like, especially with females, like, I don't know, but I think it was probably harder in your day because of the fact that, um, it was still kind of like, oh, okay, let's not come out kind of thing. But like nowadays, it's like so easy. I mean, there's so many pronouns now, especially with females. It's kind of like it's just so much easier. But I really respect that. Like, your answer was just, I loved it. Like,
Yeah.
props to you. Like, oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm
But
I,
glad.
I think another misconception that it's a phase. I don't know. So a lot of people that
That is the one, girl.
That
yeah.
is.
That's another one. That's another big one.
Um, I mean, I can only speak on behalf of myself, and so when I was coming out, first they're like, you're just going through a phase. Whoever's a lesbian, they're gonna come out of it, and I was just like, no,
no.
No, not me. I think I know.
not phase. And then you must have daddy issues, or and a lot of did something happen to you when you were younger. I mean,
You
like
haven't been with the right guy.
half
Nah.
that part, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, you must have been hurt when you were younger, and so this is why you're more comfortable. Which in I mean, which in another way, there have been, with studying trauma, some women have chose to be with their same-sex partner because of the sexual trauma that they've experienced as a child, and so that's another thing. But to say that it's a phase, to claim it as like, with you have historical issues, is just, it takes it away from um, what we identify, or what I identify as a lesbian woman, because I love and I prefer women over the other, gender. And so I think that's another misconception, is that it's a phase, that there's something wrong with her, or she has issues and such. So
I totally agree with you. That's, you know, I I don't want to like bring up my history, but just to sum it up, just to be raw for a couple minutes, but that was like that for me personally. I used to be married to a male. I even had a kid, and so, like, let me just jump into our culture, for because we're all Polynesians, sitting, or that's part of this chat, is that when I came out, and this was after, like, I knew in my heart and my soul that I was gay, but it was the fact of finding that other person that I could connect with, and kind of be raw with, right? But when I was coming up, and I got married, had a child, like, don't get me wrong, like, maybe I had to go through all that, to kind of put me where I'm at now. But overall, when coming out, everybody was like, "Oh no, you don't just go to sleep and wake up gay." First of all, that's not what happened, you know? Like I just didn't, it wasn't the right time for me. It wasn't, it was just the situation I was in, or just my surroundings in general. Like I couldn't just come out. Like it was kind of like I hid it, but at the same time, like, I tried so hard to kind of keep it in, but it just naturally came out. So when all of that happened, when I finally came out, it was kind of like so many people judged me. It was just like, oh, you don't know what you want. You say that now, and then a couple months later. I mean, there's so many females that have gone through that, where they used to be with a male and then all of a sudden they switch up to be with the female. Sometimes it's just for sex. To me, it's just for sex. Sometimes it's maybe like they were just curious at the time, but for me, it wasn't like that. And you know, being that I'm, now that I'm full blown, like out there holding my wife's hand, got married, all of that, like, I have no shame in my game. It's not even a game, actually. It's, this is real me. And so, but with that misconception of, it's a phase, I feel like, people won't understand until they're sitting in your, or in your seat, or, going through what you're going through. I mean, it took years, but you know what? I'm here. Same with
Yes.
my wife.
Yes.
And thank you so much for sharing. I that's such a powerful story, and I think what's common in I think the common theme here that I'm hearing is that there's a lot of this fear mongering that comes with the misconception. There's like a lot of it just has like a very strong negative connotation
It,
to like.
it is. It really is. Like,
Yeah.
especially coming from
Apologies.
I wasn't raised in Samoa, but I had my time there. And trust me, I think I know a lot of people. And now that we're live, it is what it is. Like, I wanted to take my part in this to, share my story. I mean, I didn't put no names to it, but it's the fact that, you know, that is a misconception. Like the biggest thing is that they think you're going through a phase, and it's not a phase. Some people, it just takes time. Mine, it took like a long time, but like I said, I just feel like a lot of our people are so like, what's the word that I'm looking for? Like they're just so closed-minded that they won't allow this, you know what I'm saying? Or they won't like look through it or even allow it. And it's sad, but you know, you can't change everybody's mind. I'm just like, but that was a good thing you brought up. That's one of the biggest things, is the whole phase issue. Annie, where you at?
I'm TV.
Yes,
Yeah.
we can see you.
I really want to hear from you, because that generation of yours must have been really.
Really tough.
Okay. It was tough. The typical Fasamoa, is let me beat the shit out of her. Let me beat the devil out of her. That was what I always heard growing up. There was something wrong with me. I'm different. And not understanding that, yes, I'm different, but I'm still your sister. I'm still your cousin. I'm still your friend. And a lot of people dissed me that I thought were gonna, stood by me, grew up with me, no longer wanted to associate with me. So, you live this loneliness, and you crave that, that somebody would actually love you for who you are. And I realized that over the years, no one's gonna love you more than yourself. You gotta love yourself first, and you gotta accept yourself, and you're gonna know that the struggle is gonna be hard. And I just kept my prayers strong. We all grew up this religious factors in our families and our culture. But you know what? I didn't base anything on what anybody else said. I based it on my relationship with God, and what He put in my heart. And I always did, every day I just said, stay strong, stay real. And I took a lot to get to where I'm at today. And I'm telling you, it was a struggle. And then you watch people suffer mentally, physically, and you felt so alone. Today, it's so much easier for all of you to be out there and, to be able to show your affections without having so much suffering to come with it, because you're going to always get it. Back then, you couldn't do anything. You suffered alone. And you were lucky if you found someone that could understand you. And it was very few. Today, we have a lot more support groups out there. We got a lot more support from the community, but it's still not enough.
Right.
It's not enough yet. And we have to still continue to educate the people that, we're just as real as the next person out there. We are. And we work, we pay taxes, we do everything just like everybody else.
Right.
I'm more of a conservative Democrat. I'm going to say it right there. I'm very conservative and I'm very old school. And I still love and I still care about people. But it doesn't mean I don't get the backlash still from family, friends. I'm still going to get it. But I'm a lot stronger today than I was 20, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago.
Wow.
I'm stronger today.
Yeah. It's
But only
because
of you guys.
sorry.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
it's because of
I really admire that about you, Annie. I really admire that about you. Staying strong throughout all those years. Like, I can't imagine what you went through, back then, because, we still continue to go through a lot, within the LGBT, not just, our lesbian community, but everybody, all LGBT. We continue to go through so much, but I can't imagine the struggle and all the hatred that you had to go through back then. Like, I can't imagine. And I really admire the strength that you have and how you continue to be that example for all of us, that, don't give up, be yourself, basically we define ourselves. No one can define us. We define ourselves and our happiness. And yeah, I really admire that about you.
I've always kept in my mind was, I don't owe you an explanation. I owe you nothing, but I owe it to myself. And that was important for me. And I stood by that always. So whenever somebody questioned me, I just look at them like, I don't have to answer to you. I don't have to answer to this one either. I only got to answer to me because I'm the one that has to live with me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I always felt.
It's so true.
That is very true. Growing up, especially for the Samoan community, I can honestly say one thing we could all agree on is we all grew up in a church. And when I was coming out, slowly creeping out of the closet, rumors started floating around, and I was literally getting threats from my parents. Like, if I find out, I'm going to shave your head, or, I'm going to beat you up. So when the moment came, graduation, I told myself, okay, I need to move as far, far, far away where I can be myself. And like you said, Annie, it's very lonely. It's a lonely road because all you want is to be loved and be accepted, especially from your own family. It took years, and I feel like we owe it to the generations that have come before us, who have paved that way for us, and educating everybody that came through that line to help understand that, we exist, we are people too, and whether or not they like it, they're going to have to accept it because, they can't change us.
No.
I agree. Thank you so much for sharing, ladies. But we're going to move on to the next question. Alrighty. So we have here, each subgroup in the larger 2S LGBTQ plus community has a set of terms unique to their community. Are there any that you know or are commonly used in lesbian circles that you could share with us?
Each subgroup in larger.
So I'm
terms. Terms.
Yeah.
I like to start off this question.
Ooh, okay, go girl.
They're all, lesbian is an encompassing term, but I just want to shed light to, Samoans and the many terms. Yeah. One of the terms that me and my partner, we've kind of owned up to is spoon, and so I think it started off with just like the word gravy. I don't know, for some reason it has like this, you know,
For living, yes, yes, girl.
That's
name gravy. And then of course all of a sudden my friends are calling us sipungi and ulo, or spoon and pot for, you know, in English. And so I just got tired of them calling me sipungi, and so it's like, and so one of my friends, Vera, it brought her so much joy to call me spoon. And so, you know, at some point I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna own it. And then all of a sudden I became DJ Spoon, and now me and my partner, and the daughters that we've some adopted, we call ourselves the House of Spoon.
House of Spoons. I
love
love
it.
it.
Spoon should be part of that LGBTQ2. So yeah,
Love DJs.
With me, actually, the other day, one of my coworkers, she's one of the officers, and she's more like masculine. So she calls in and she was like, Meredith, what's your type? And so I told her, like, you know, my type, and she's like, oh God, you're a lipsticker. So that's like, so with lipsticker, for those who don't know, it's basically two very feminine women, you know, who, you know, wear makeup, lipstick. And so it's just funny how they have that term for like two, you know, feminine women as lipsticker. Yeah, it's hilarious, some of the different
I think
terms.
it's cute. I think it's cute, Serene. Like, you know, it's cute. Especially, I mean, like I've heard some terms, like I don't know if this is like our generation or it's been years, but like when especially at work, like where I work at, like I'm around a lot of males, right? And so a lot of the guys would be like, "Oh, so are you the boo or the femme?" And I said, "What? What do you mean?" And
Boo,
it
boo or babe?
no, like a butch or the femi one. And I
Oh.
said, well, how do you know this? And there, oh, then the guy was just like, "Oh no, you're the boo, huh? Because you're wearing what do you call a
Baggy.
beanie?" And I said, "No." I was just like, we don't go by terms like that. But like when I would hear boo or femme, like I automatically know because there's certain couples, you know, like lesbian couples that go like that are more butchy, and then there's the femi ones that are more feminine, you know, like lipsticks. But other than that, like I've heard the term kalebe, not the spoon. The spoon one is good.
Spoon is
It's new. The
Kalebe
spoon one
is-
is new to me.
Who's the new one?
And like I mean, those are like the only terms I've heard. But
or
like
stem.
or stem, they're like
Stud.
or
Stem.
stud. I was just so like, what's? But when I looked up what a stem is very. I mean, forgive me if I have this wrong, but like
She fluctuates between being
like a
a lipstick and a
and a-
stud.
and a stud. So,
Yeah.
but like she'll wear stud clothes, but she'll
but still
have
be
makeup.
girly
Yeah,
and stuff like that. That's a step.
oh,
but
STEM.
a stem.
Yeah,
a
stud
stem.
and femme
Stem.
lipstick. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just so funny, like all the different terms that they have. So like sometimes I'll be girly one day, and then another day I'll be wearing some Jordans, a hoodie, beanie, and some pants.
I feel you. That's how I am too.
Right?
Sometimes
Or-
I look like her, like, and I'm just like, but it's comfortable, right, babe? It's comfortable. I'm just saying.
Yes.
That is why I dress the way I dress, because it's comfortable. Also because it's to deter men from what is that? What's that word I'm looking for?
Like
When they're
checking you out.
yeah,
Oh.
but like objectifying you, like, ooh, look at her body, like, oh, this, oh, that, oh, cleavage, ooh, you know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I was like, you know what? I'm going to cover up. And, you know, with time, I felt more comfortable and comfortable, you know, just being conservative, I guess. Yeah.
You, Miss Annie? I
Yeah,
want to hear
from
your right?
One thing about me, I listen, I pay attention. So I'm always listening to the conversations and stuff. So that's why I always chat in later. I've always been what did they categorize me as a lipstick dyke? And I hate that terminology. I really hated it because I felt like, okay,
Me too.
I wear makeup, I dress girly,
Mm.
okay, but when I look at my counterparts, I look at everybody else around me, they're dressing, and that makeup. So what do you call a straight person that wears that? There is none. Why do you have to categorize me and put me in a certain, and label me? Why can't I just be me? That was my whole point. I would get frustrated. Like, why do I always have to be labeled and outed? I'm not like that. I just want to be treated equally. I just want to be treated, with respect. I don't give you a reason to disrespect me, but yet you want to disrespect me by constantly labeling me and outing me. That was my frustration. I identify more as a feminine. My spouse, my spouse is very casual. I'm going to say casual because I don't even want to give that label either. We're both like that. We don't have a label on ourselves. We're just being ourselves, and how we dress identify who we are, or put us, worry about me if I'm a criminal or I'm out shooting somebody,
Right.
or how I'm dressing, or how I, wear my high heels. Yes, I still like 12-inch heels. Yeah, I do.
Yes.
Go girl.
Get
But I have my days too where, yes, I got that beanie. I got my 501 jeans. You ain't think I'm gonna wear my
Okay, girl.
but it's different from any other girl out there walking around.
Exactly.
So labels are really hard for me to accept because I'm just a typical taxpayer's person. Give me that the respect I deserved.
Right.
Right. You do everything like every other.
Yeah, we eat,
Right.
sleep, work, pay taxes the same way as everybody else does.
right.
Every mama does. I cook, I clean, I
Yes.
hustle for my money. I pay my taxes every year. I pay taxes, but I'm just like, just treat me equally. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking you to drop down on my knees, because I'm not that neat. I'm not knee deep in my feelings. I'm not, because you know what? I give everybody opportunities. I give you the respect, but if you can't give it to me, I'm not gonna say nothing new. But my silence will tell you exactly what I'm saying. I will walk away.
Period. Oh, thank you, Annie.
And
Alrighty, our next question that we have here is this one's a deep one. Alrighty, so we have here, who or what was your sexual awakening and realization that you were lesbian or leaned towards an attraction to women? Who wants to share first?
Agnes, would you like to start? Would you like to
Me?
start?
Yes. Yes,
Sure.
girl.
So I didn't have a sexual awakening. Okay. I that is a tough question. I'm thinking hard.
Okay, I can actually start
I work carefully.
if you want to think.
So I'll skip this question if somebody else can start. Let me gather my thoughts because I'm getting excited.
No, I got you. So with me, I actually realized I was attracted to women at the age of 8. I was in 3rd grade. I was in class, and you know how we all have that crush when we're young. It was
No,
weird. I had a crush on my classmate, this girl classmate of mine, and I don't know. I always wanted to sit next to her, and I just thought she was so pretty, and I just always had that. And even going into high school, I always looked at girls like, I was very attracted to girls, but I was in the closet because my grandma, she found out about me, with a girl, and she beat the hell out of me. Yeah, she beat the hell out of me. She showered me in holy water and everything. Like it was tough. So I was in the closet the whole time. And in high school, I just knew I was attracted to women, especially like, when I was tipsy, it came out. Like, I was like so confident in like flirting with the girls, and that was me. So um yeah, so I think that was me, like realizing my attraction towards women. Yeah.
Would you like to share?
Um, this is an easy one. I'm just kidding. I think with me is I'm not even gonna say like how far back I found out, but like I was raised in Hawaii, so of course in Hawaii there's no like, you know what I'm saying, you go to school, half the girls are in bongo shorts, slippers, like the bikini under the tube top and all that. But it's like every single time like I would pass a female, I would look at them, like I would admire them, like I'll admire their beauty. I mean, each female was different, but like, you know how us females we have curves? Like that's what I would look at. Like, especially with like a room full of guys and females, I wouldn't even pay attention to the guys. Like I'll just be looking at them, admiring them, like, oh my gosh. But at the same time, like I could tell which ones were kind of like the straight ones and which ones were like
So
like
you're a gaydar.
yeah, like your gaydar goes up kind of thing. And that's and I think mine was at such a young age too, but like but every single time I see a female, like I would just admire them. Like, it's not so much like, oh, I want to be like them. It's not that. It's just like, oh my gosh, she's so pretty. Like her hair, her lips, especially their lips, their eyes, like, oh babe, what? What's going on?
Keep going, keep going.
But it's just like the features of a female. It's just so, like it just captures you. Like you just, but yeah, for me, it's just how they look, like just admiring their beauty and just how they look. That was just me. That's basically it.
Yeah, to
Oh,
add
and
on top,
talking to them, of course, talking to them because like a lot of females, yeah, they'll look good, but then at the same time, you're just like, okay, I can't keep a conversation with them. Like that's it. Like it's just all beauty, no brains kind of thing. But like,
So hard.
no, I'm just saying, but overall, I would have to definitely say the main thing was just their features. Yep.
and that's so true. Like you really notice, like you pay attention more and you're attracted more like to the details of a woman. That's how
Mhm.
you know, like, oh, okay, you're more into detail of how beautiful she looks rather than looking at a man as like, oh yeah, he's handsome. But then with a woman, you're more into detail with how beautiful she is.
Yeah, because guys, like, I mean, no offense, but like when you look at a male, it's just like this. I don't understand why people, oh, they got a nice booty. Where? Like, I'm sorry, but you know what? Let me just shut up and let the other females
Yeah.
talk. Sorry.
Agnes.
My
No.
awakening.
Your awakening.
Oh,
Oh, no, we're going with Agnes's awakening.
But my sexual awakening was my seventh grade teacher. Um, no, I didn't. I did not have any. I was just very attracted to her, and I was just like, I find myself having a crush over my teacher, and I was just like, this is not normal. And so, um, and then of course I started writing letters to other girls, um,
I love it.
and for me, my it was just I after realizing that I was attracted to women so much that I even had to change my whole persona. Like one time I had to cut my hair when I was in elementary in seventh grade because I was playing baseball with all the kids in the neighborhood. And so, and then I ended up calling myself Junior. I don't know
Wait.
why. But
Oh
this,
my.
but what I'm trying to get at is that for me, when I started to realize that I was attracted to women, automatically my brain or just the way things were, it prompted me to start acting out in a certain way just to kind of like, I wasn't sure if I was trying to feed off people's gaydar to like the radar towards like, okay, they're gonna guess who am I,
Yeah, I'm gay. Look at me.
with going. But then, I had a cousin who just called out and say, "Yes, boomy," when I was like young, and I was just like, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not." Yet, I was doing other things to kind of like, okay, it's getting there. And then I had to try to push myself. I had to like, as I'm trying to, enjoy, the physique of a woman, I'm also trying to make sure that nobody's looking at me, looking at women, if that makes sense. And so, and when I finally found myself in my first female relationship when I was in high school, I just knew that, I just loved all that drama, all of that came with, like, being, lesbian and being closeted and not fun. But yeah,
I-
answer the question before I get carried away. Yeah.
No, you're fine. I've always knew I was gay. From watching movies, finding women attractive, admiring their physique, their beauty, and women are beautiful. I mean, everyone's beautiful, but
We
I
all.
personally found women beautiful to look at and to fantasize. I was just like, oh yeah, you're gay. You're gay. End of story.
Oh, actually, for me, um, no, I didn't come out until I was realizing that I was 15, and um, I didn't even know the terminology gay. To be honest with you, I have always associated gay being happy. And when I started hearing people saying, "Yeah, I heard she's gay," I kind of like, okay, I'm a happy person. Could be I was we were raised so strictly that we stayed home a lot, church and home and school was the only thing we did. So when I finally went into the city in San Francisco, I started seeing a whole new different world out there. And my first encounter was I didn't see any problem with it. I didn't realize that, liking somebody and loving somebody is a problem. I just thought love was love. And then everybody was labeling it, you're gay. I still didn't see the problem in it. So I was about 15 when I came out, and it was pretty difficult time for me. Accepting it, not a problem. Not understanding why it's a problem with society was my problem. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
perfect, perfect,
Yeah.
I
perfect.
think if society was kind to us, in the way that we were coming into terms with our identity, I don't think we would have so much misconception or a lot of these, um, you know, fighting thoughts, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know why this popped in my head, but just talking about how we all came to know that, we were attracted to women, and all that. It like to me, just sitting here talking about it, like even when I'm trying to make friends and they know that I'm a lesbian, some of them like automatically think, oh, she's trying to get at me. No, woman,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get at you. Like that's why um
Who's this?
no, like just in general, babe, just in general. Like what I'm saying is like, it's kind of hard to make friends too in a way, especially if like society knows that you're gay. Like for instance, like I've come across like when women like that I work with or just in general like, oh, she's gay, like
When you
they
mention your
automatically kind of
sexuality.
like fall back or they kind of like hinder themselves from like trying to get close to me. It's not I'm trying to check you out. It's not that, like sometimes I'm just trying to make a friend, like
Exactly.
hetero, gay, whatever the case may be, but it's not me because them just knowing that I'm a lesbian, they're like, oh, she wants to get at me. No, I don't. But but that's for them to think. But I mean, sorry, it just came out of my head. Like I was just thinking about it, like just sitting here talking about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
All
And
right.
I used to hear, for me, in piggyback on that, I used to have fear that if I would come out gay, my friends wouldn't like me so much, and I struggle with that. Like, I struggled with that for a little bit. Like I tried not to, only because I didn't want them to, pull back. Like I enjoyed I enjoyed the company of my friends, but then I also didn't want them to know. At one point in my life, I was really concerned about not letting them know who I was, because I feared that because of my lesbianism that they were going to be my friends. And so on the flip side of what you were just sharing, like that also, for me, I had to check myself because I didn't want to lose them. But then, in hindsight's always 2020. Now that I realize that, um, I want, and then I should have just not cared about what people thought about me. But that was a challenge for me too, as a lesbian woman. You know, being around women who tend to fear. They would have this fear, like, oh, you have cooties, don't come next to us because you're gonna,
Or
you
if they
know,
associate themselves with you,
Right.
they're gonna,
Everybody else is gonna identify them as,
everybody's gonna
oh, they're
identify
gay
themselves, oh,
right,
she's gay too,
because
kind of
they're hanging
thing,
around each
because they're
other.
hanging around each other.
Like
It's
nothing's wrong with having straight friends, gay friends.
yeah.
assumptions.
And
Well,
I think that's a thing about the times right now. Like the kids, I have like teenage nieces and nephews, and they embrace. And you guys are so lucky. We didn't have to. There was so much fear in my time growing up, and just for you guys to embrace, the youth who are identify as LGBTQ to us. It's a really good thing to see at this time and age.
I think we have that sense of wanting to belong, you know,
Mm,
long for that, for the love and the support. But it's the fear that rejection.
yeah.
And I think,
Oh yeah.
and that's a normal thing with anybody, whether you're gay or straight. No one wants to be rejected. And
Exactly.
our battle is more so with ourselves. We're going to get a lot of it out there, regardless if we're gay or straight. We're going to get rejection. We just want that longing. And I don't think people realize how much of it is a battle out there for us,
Exactly.
just to belong,
Yes.
you know.
And you're so right, Annie, because it took me a long time to say, you know what? I'm not here to please. I don't care if you don't like me. This is who I am. And I think in coming to terms with loving myself allowed me to flourish as a lesbian woman in my family, in this beautiful slash, sometimes I don't like it, greedy culture, and even in my my workspace, in my working environment. I had to come out and say, you know what, if you don't like me for who I am, at least it, that's on you. But I am a lesbian. I'm a good worker. I'm a good, I'm a daughter of this family. So you take it or you don't. That's on you. But I'm not going anywhere. And so yeah.
Thank you, ladies. So our next question we have here, we have a few more minutes left. Sorry. So our next question is: describe your ideal woman. Does she exist? Does your list exist in reality for a woman to meet? I think I think all of us are in a relationship.
Yeah, my ideal woman, my partner. That's a safe answer. Yeah. So, I should go first, because it's really hard to gauge everyone's, because again, my ideal woman is, just not so much, I think they just have to be a good person, who is willing to walk through the flames with me, and you just be compatible and just be a good person all around. um yeah, that's my perfect. I mean, to search for a perfect woman is, but my partner of 13 years have been my, we're constantly, it's a moving target of perfection. But yes, she is my perfect woman, so yeah.
Oh, I love that. For me, I'm in a relationship as well. I absolutely adore, and I love my girlfriend. She's amazing. With her, to me, she's perfect with how independent she is. The communication her and I have is amazing, and I absolutely love that with being in a relationship with a woman. I gotta say, the communication is like key. So yeah, it's to me that's the main thing about my ideal woman.
I'm so sorry.
Sorry, we
Our-
had to.
There was
our
like a
connect-
technical
difficulty.
difficulties on our end. Are we on question number 5?
Yes, we are. What is your ideal woman?
For me, um, we've been together almost 23 years,
Ooh,
No.
and she's perfect in every way. And I accept every perfect thing about her, and I accept every imperfect thing about her.
I love that.
We struggle together, and you don't know someone until you move. You live with them. Boy, that was a struggle,
Mm-hmm.
and we had to learn to compromise. We had to learn to listen to each other. I have been so fortunate that I have them. You know, my shout out is to her family. Her family loved me for all my imperfections. They stood by me and gave me strength, loved me unconditionally. And I was blessed to have them in my life because they kept me strong, even though I was falling. They kept me strong, and I had the most loving mother-in-law that she loved me so much. I was given that opportunity to feel that kind of love. Not everybody gets that.
Mhm.
And I was given that by her entire family. I get support from my family, but the first beginning of my years weren't. I didn't get that support, and it's because it was the fear of not being understanding. So I say I got imperfect and perfect. I got it all.
I love that.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
Um, so my ideal woman, as you can see, she's sitting right next to me. Um, I would have to say, man, I'm just trying to get where you're at, Annie. Um, I mean, me and my wife's relationship currently, I mean, we're still a work in progress. We're still trying to get there. I mean, we're not perfect, but at the same time, she's perfect for me.
Mhm.
You know,
Exactly.
God
Yeah.
seen, God seen my weaknesses, and then boom, she comes into my life. Um, as for family wise, like I said, we're still a work in progress. I haven't really met all of her family because you know, being being Samoan, me Tongan, we have such a big family that my wife, like, we've been together since 2016, and I have to say she's met the important people, the important ones that I wanted her to meet beforehand. But in general, I would have to say my mother-in-law, loving woman. I would have to say, like, she had her struggles with coming out, and then my wife met me. Of course, it was hard. I know her mom and her dad were kind of scared and also confused, and there's probably all kinds of feelings that they were going through. But at the same time, my mother-in-law, she was so open. She was so I mean, I'm speaking past it. She's very open, and she's so good to me. um her brothers as well, very opening. I mean, like I said, we're still a work in progress. We're trying to get to where you're at, Annie.
Right.
23 years. Wow.
Thank you. That's amazing.
That's
Goals.
amazing. I mean, um, all I can ask is that me and her, we keep an open line of communication, and just being there, because like you said, once you get married, especially like for a couple like us, all we can do is basically, you know, struggle together. I mean, that's basically it in this life. You struggle and then you win some, you lose some. But other than that, yeah, guys, this is my ideal woman.
Uh, pretty much what she said. Both of our families are very supportive. Yes, there was, well, not so much on her side of the family, but more so on my side of the family when I was in a relationship, they weren't. They were like, okay, she's in a relationship.
She's just a friend.
She's just a friend type of thing. And then when we said we were getting married, that's where they're like, oh shoot, hold on, wait, she's serious. And yeah, I mean, it took my family some time, but I love my wife's family. They're very supportive, and I love them for loving me and for accepting me as their own. They make me feel very welcome, and I can honestly say I'm very fortunate, uh, to be in this time and in this life where, people are slowly but surely educating themselves and learning that people like us exist and are we're just like everybody else. And I mean, we're not a heterosexual couple, but we operate and love the same way.
Exactly.
Exactly. I love that. Oh, thank you, ladies. So we are on to our last question. What are your favorite parts about being a lesbian? What, if any, are the parts you don't like?
I love this one.
Who wants to go first?
You know what? We were just talking about this on our way here.
What?
So, as you can tell, no, I'm just kidding. One of the pros of this is that I know this is TMI, but like, when you get your Mary, you know what I'm saying, and you're in the bathroom, like they understand, when it's that time of the month.
Oh my gosh, man.
No, I'm sorry. Like I'm just saying, like this is
I'm
one
not.
of to me, this is the pros. Like she understands, like, when she starts seeing that I'm copping attitude, that, like for free,
Out of
she-
nowhere.
out of nowhere, she tells me that I'm getting it. And what happens? It's true. Um the ones that I don't like about like the whole I'm just, the
Go ahead,
parts
go
that I
ahead.
don't like is the fact that I know we're equals, but people gotta, when it comes to washing the dishes, you know, bringing up the groceries and stuff, like we live on the third floor, and sometimes I feel like I'm the one running up and down, but other than that, I mean, being a lesbian, I think it's the fact that us women, we know how to vibe off of each other. And it's especially like when we get into arguments, there's always the one that's high.
Yes.
Honey, can you fix this?
And she understands when she's the type that if I'm like just arguing back with her, she just looks at me and she tells me, "Oh, I love your energy, babe." Like,
Mhm.
but it's the fact that she can understand me and just put up with my craziness.
Since she's already talking, I'll go off of what are my favorite parts of being a lesbian? We actually go through the same thing, TMI. Menstruation. We don't have to worry about female products ever running out of female products.
True.
Because we're always fully stacked in supplies. What else? Uh, One thing I don't like. Okay, she talks about the kitchen being in the kitchen. Okay, props to her. She can cook. The first time we met, I made her breakfast. She only ate a toast. I fried eggs and went out of my whole way to do everything for her. And then come to find out she could actually throw down in the kitchen. So that kind of discouraged me to ever cook again. Okay, that's my excuse. I know it's a sorry excuse, but um, one thing about I would say I don't want to use the word masculine, but but I having more strength. my wife likes to depend on me carrying the heavy things. That I don't like. I'm like, I thought we were equal. Like, come on, girl, help me out here.
Sorry, babe.
Or even doing laundry. She told me to live on the third floor. This past weekend, she's sola. She went to Pasco with her family and left me to do. Oh, and this is another thing. Two girls, we like to wear a lot of clothes. So much laundry to do. 8 loads to do. I had to do. And I carried them down the stairs, back up the stairs with full complaint and texting her the next time you miss out on laundry, I'm separating our laundry and you're doing your own.
Babe, I see you as a work in progress.
Yes, we are work in progress. Yeah.
But overall, as you know, the biggest good thing about being in a
It's genuine. I feel very
we can IFA to each
we
other.
can eat to each other.
Like that's you can talk,
I love that.
just say things.
Right. And when we're having issues or having like feelings, she understands how I feel. I understand how she feels. Like it's a very genuine conversation. We're emotional. It's, there's no, what's the word?
I don't know, but I think it's their turn.
Yeah. We'll get the flow. We keep talking. Sorry, guys.
To add on to what you two shared, basically you guys covered a lot of it.
Are you guys still there?
To add on what you guys said, with me, it's more on personal and kind of like too much information, but I know y'all can relate. When it comes to the sex, we can last really long. We can go on for hours. So I think that's the
Annie looking kind of
Auntie Annie, like,
I think that's the one thing about with the one thing I love about being a lesbian is like we can go on for hours, and yeah, that's the one thing I love. With the one thing that I dislike is I am not good with the mechanics. I had to take my car to go, men are more they know when to take the car service or whatever. I'm terrible at that. Even my girlfriend, she's men are more they can you hear me?
yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I'm terrible at keeping up with getting my car service. Yeah, we can hear you.
That's a delay.
Okay. Oh, okay. So I guess it's my turn to answer that question. My favorite part. Can everybody hear me? I
Yes,
need to.
ma'am.
So my favorite part of being a lesbian. To answer that question. I think for me is. Can everybody hear me? I need to. Is there? Okay.
I think there's a slight delay, but you're good.
Okay. So for me, living in my truth, I think the most beautiful thing about it is I get to share living in my truth, part of me with the person that I love. Being a lesbian, gotten away with some of our so my sibling and I, there's so how we have so my sibling and my brother and then my sister and her husband my sister that we've gotten away like we find ourselves getting away from because we're not able to participate in some of those things. And just going back to the IFA, yeah, the companionship. The companionship part of being a lesbian is my most favorite part. Our compatibility, the things that the similar things that we love, the similar things that we care for as women, the things that the things that we do, the way that we respond to things as women, the way that we conceptualize as women,
care for as
and
women.
then
Um,
that
is
nurture
the way
portion
we
of
respond
uh,
to things,
women,
women,
and just
and conceptualize as
and share it with okay, I'm it's
as
okay.
again, we respond to things, women,
And just
conceptualize as
share it with
Can you hear me?
okay.
I,
It's
oh,
Annie, are you watching the live while on?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
yeah,
Oh, I can't hear them. Hello?
yes, can.
Okay. Just
We
want to
can
make
hear
sure.
you.
Okay. Sorry, back to my train of thoughts. So that's why I love. Those are my favorite parts of being a
What was?
lesbian.
Can you repeat the question real quick?
What are your favorite parts of being a lesbian, and what are your not so favorite parts?
Okay. My favorite part, and I on my true compassion is I'm at the fight with you. I'm going to fight this equality with you. That is my passion right there. I'm going to make this happen before my last breath. The one I don't like about about being a lesbian, I don't know, because I don't I don't allow hate, because hate is such a powerful emotion and it can destroy you. So I don't allow that kind of hate, and I don't allow anybody's hate to consume me. I just have a hard time with that, because it eats you up really fast, and it can destroy every bit of part of you. So I don't have anything to do with hate. I can't hate myself because I love myself too much. I think I guess I answered it right.
Yeah,
Yes,
you did.
you. Agnes, did you want to add on to what you were saying?
No, well, sure. So yeah, and not so good parts about it is just having to deal with the ignorance of society,
Mhm.
um us as first as women and then second as lesbian women. I think we have already as a woman, the inequality like what Annie is saying,
Mhm.
but then to be a lesbian woman, it comes with there's a lot to unpack for us, or for me, granted, in the struggle in trying to come out. My not so favorite part of being a lesbian is having to go through all of that just to just to just to I the struggle of coming out, the whole process of going through, trying to get through those norms. And I think my feeling is shared across everyone on the spectrum about just having to break through down those doors. That's the not so fair part. But on the flip side, what it allows me is to be part of a community that by having all of that, I was able to find myself in a community that I most identify with, and that is my most favorite part of being a lesbian, is having that community to, to as a safety net, as just like a holistic thing about who I am as a lesbian woman. So yeah, my answer. Thank you for the question.
Well, that concludes our evening for this topic on Tumu After Dark. And I thank you so much. I want to thank you, ladies, so much for sharing and opening up to us, especially to our live feed that we had. I thank you all for joining us. Um, Thank you for tuning in. Thank you all for a lovely conversation of these beautiful ladies. But yeah, this is the L word from the lesbian community. But we want to thank you all again and hope to see you all again for another episode of this topic. Hopefully, this is awesome. Yeah, but
You.
Thank you
All
all.
right.
You guys have a great night.
You too.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, ladies.